Hi everybody. What you're about to watch or have watched, I haven't decided, is the third book in the Axiom and trilogy by Lindsey Elis. Um, in the book, Ampersand becomes kind of like Superman. He has a more apt comparison would be Miracle Man, modern day Miracle Man, where he's handing out superpowers to everyone. Only he he hands them out to Cora, his Lois Lane figure, and he um, does experiments on her. I'm making it sound a lot more gross than it actually is, but to improve her eyesight because she's human, so she can live longer. Um, kind of like Superman, he is preparing for that life to end. Um, he is preparing for one day because all you modern day Superman fans know, probably know how Golden Age Superman died. Golden Age Superman died in Infinite Crisis. Um, he had just suffered through like one of the biggest battles of his life, but Lois died before, and in many ways, he was died when he he had died when Lois died in his arms, and it's like Ampersand does not want that, and that was the death of the greatest version of Superman of all time. Ampersand has all those powers and that, but they're technologically based, and it's like a giant spider. So think Superman, but a giant spider, and he really wasn't as big a character in this book as I would like. And that wasn't the only time it reminded me of Superman. Um, the the flower or the things they use to imprison the humans in the third book reminded me of the Black Mercy from the man who has what you get the man who has everything by Alan Moore. Now that I think about it, there was a lot of weird Alan Moore connections, but um, I don't think Lindsey was purposely making them. I think it was just out there. Um, but there wasn't a lot of references to the Broken Circle, their version of Conspiracy Nuts. It was more like um, Independence Day, kind of in that way, because like one of the you find out that the Civil War that went on in the first book, second book, the whole series, between the Facetiran and their sister species that I talk about in this video, they've been holding one captive, which kind of reminded me of Independence Day. You know, the scene where the guy wraps his thing around Commander Data's throat and speaks through him like a ventriloquist dummy. You all know what I'm talking about. You're smart people. But that's what I was expecting the dead corpse of Johnny to do. But the fact is, she didn't go that far. It was nice. Other than that, I think this video pretty much summarizes my view on this particular book in the series. You'll see my view on there being it being over like she claims. But needless to say, I put a lot of effort into this one. I enjoyed it. The next book, I'm either leaning toward All Hail the Pumpkin Queen or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Let me know what you think in the comments. What should I review next? I think I asked that during the rest of the video. But yeah, that's why ampersand reminds me of Superman, kind of, in this. Enjoy the video. Bob out. Hi, friends, and how are you today? Can't hear you? It's cool. I'm gonna pretend like you said good. But I have just finished the third book in the Axiom's End trilogy. Lindsey Elis, the author, says it's the end, but I don't trust her. Not that I don't trust her as a person, but the way the book ends didn't feel like an ending. It wasn't like, oh, and Scrooge learned his lesson. So I kind of think she has a fourth one all lined up. I said in my very first review that this could go on for at least 15 books. She still hasn't proven me wrong. If you watch those reviews, you kind of know that I didn't like the second book. This was way better than that. If you liked like Stranger in a Strange Land. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And even Ready Player One to an extent. You may enjoy this. It takes place in an alternate timeline where we didn't elect the greatest president of all time, Barack Obama. Who said that? Instead, we elected a guy named President Julian. President Julian kind of is a jerk, but it really felt like maybe Nils, which was my favorite character in the first book, not the last book. The first book was kind of pulling the strings. Not gonna spoil the ending for you, but if you liked the first book, if you liked Axiom's End, the very start of the trilogy, you're gonna like this. It wasn't as dark as Children Truth of the Divine. God damn, I almost said Children of the Divine, but Truth of the Divine, it wasn't as gruesome. It didn't feel like a Frank Miller book. It felt very light, very, I mean, it was kind of topical because they used biological weapons, but at the same time, it was clear it was an alternate reality. And when he tried, when she tried to disable one of my new favorite characters in this series, Saul Kaplan, it didn't go too deep into it because I don't think that I think Lindsey knew her limitations and she didn't try to make the disabled lifestyle seem glamorous. I have a disability. I know what that's like. And she approached it very tastefully. It was very, I mean, I'd like to see if she does a fourth book, which I didn't think she was going to do a second one. I mean, a third one. Damn it. A third one. I thought she was going to stop at a second. I thought the second book was that dark that I thought she was just tapping out there. And a lot of the stuff that went wrong in Lindsey's personal life, like what went on with her Twitter, I thought that would have been enough. But no, this shows she powered through and got over whatever mountain she was trying to climb. It still has that very late 2000s vibe. The guy's name is Saul Kaplan. What I'd like to see, getting back to that, is him say, "No, don't fix me. Accept me as I am." Because at the end, he is talking to Cora about how hard it is, how he's a paraplegic and this, that, and the other, and how what happens in the end affected him. He then worries about his family and all this wonderful life stuff. She says, I could fix you, implying the technology that she has been given by Ampersand, the alien from the first one, could fix him. And you don't hear what, or you don't read what, if you're reading this in regular book form. I didn't read it in audiobook form, what his answer is. And I told you, I'd like to have it be, no, accept me as I am. But it's not my character. I wouldn't have made Nils Ortega a jerk. I liked Nils from the first book. I didn't like the second book and how it portrayed Nils. I didn't like a lot in the second book. The second book felt very dark, very topical. I read it after the real life riots at the Capitol. So maybe it was me in my headspace, but I just when they did that, I was like, I'm out, I'm done. I enjoyed it. I did power through, but emotionally I was, yeah. Anyway, that's enough about me. Um why I like this one better. You didn't just get Cora as the narrator in this. You got Kave's old boss. You got, like I said, Saul Kaplan. You got to know what happened to minor characters from the first one, like Olive. You got to see what other countries would have dealt like with the alien changes. Where in Watchmen they just have New York and the US and how we're dealing with the giant squids. This, you actually get enough world building that you see what the Philippines and other countries are doing to combat the aliens. And you see that there's a lot of mistrust in the world, which is very realistic to our real life. It's just, yeah, very realistic, very open, very, like I said, if she goes back to what the mojo she was running in the second book, though, I wouldn't be interested. This, I feel that you could show to a 13-year-old, 14-year-old teenager and they'd be okay. I mean, there is one scene, but you can use your discretion when reading that, or having the kid read that, or whatever. But it's down to you parents. It's not down to me, a man with no children. That yeah. So anyway, um, each one of these new narrators though has like their own voice. It's not just the lady from the first book doing Cora all the time and trying to do voices for it's the actual performer that does like Kave's boss's voice, where the performer from Watchmen, he tried to do all the voices, even the female ones, and it's like, yeah, no. You get three different distinct voices that see the world in three different distinct ways. And that was awesome. I can't say it's a Rashomon situation because I've never seen Rashomon. I hear it's great. But yeah, so it felt very unique in its storytelling, though. Um, Ampersand at the end reminded me of Golden Age Superman. Why? It made me ask the question, why does Superman always save Lois? Because Cora in that analogy would be Lois. And Ampersand, because he turns into like the Superman type figure, but he's not doing good originally for humanity. He's doing good because of Cora. And it's like, it just, as a comic book geek, I just scratch my head and go, yeah, she has a point. Why? Why? I mean, and it's not just all callbacks either. It's like I said, with the Philippines, you get their government has characters like Cutty Pie, and I think he will be great in book 4. If there is a book 4, which again she claims that this is going to be the end. It doesn't end with the world blowing up. They could still go to Mars like we are. Um, Logically, they'd be more advanced because, like I said, it's a deviating timeline. Just a thought. Um, I really enjoyed it. I told a buddy of I, I think I already said I told a buddy of mine that I was reading this book and I swore the secret agent guy that Cora thought was a butt in the first one that put that Dennis Leary song as her ringer for him because of his attitude kind of turns into more of a father figure for Cora, and it's just nice. She actually managed to flush out the characters in that regard. I thought the man's name was Saul Capling. I had a teacher named Capling, and that's what I pictured, but the man's name, as I said, was Saul Kaplan, which, yeah. Anyway, it was. Then I pictured the guy from Duel Masters, or Digimon, the fourth generation. If any of you fellow nerds know what I'm talking about. But I liked that Lindsey managed to flesh out the world, build up the castle. It would be a shame to knock it down right now. I mean, that's part of the reason I don't believe there is it's a ending. I believe there's going to be a book 4 that's going to end, and I don't believe. Why would she put in all this effort to just wipe it all away? I mean, she puts great emphasis on that the obelisk, that that their hive mind, though, that the hive mind is going to destroy us, and it's like she can't tell me she doesn't have something planned. I have a book. I had trouble breaking apart book 1, book 2, and book 3. That's what I'm in the middle of doing. But I have enough material at least for 2 books, and that was unintentional. So as a writer, your mind just goes. Yeah. And for someone that I asked, where's Olive? And in one of these, it's like she had an answer. Not saying she watched my video, only 20 of you did. The first book did, if any, and if my videos are any indication, the first book did a lot better. People were very interested, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this video. Y'all need to get back on the bus, because this was a great start to a new chapter of a great story. I mean, she brings in a whole new species of aliens. It turns out that the spider similars, the aliens from the first one, aren't the only game in town. That's all I'll say. And they have a whole society based around that. And it's like, but it was awesome that you did bring back characters from the second book. I may not have liked the second book, but she didn't throw everything out the window. She looked at what to keep. When Nikolai was in prison at the very start of the book, and Kave's old boss, the character that has the new narrator, one of them anyway, is interviewing him, you find out they have a past. And it's like, I never read it, but I imagine that's how that scene in my head, I imagine that's how one person must feel when Clarice is interviewing Hannibal Lecter. It was very tense, very, oh my God, she could get killed. And it's like, yeah. So just the interaction between those two alone was awesome. And the fact they get trapped together, also awesome. So I'm not going to tell you how that ends. It was a great growth moment. Again, great world building. I would give it a like star rating, but a lot of effort's been put into this one, so I don't feel right rating it. Lindsay, if you do watch this, I mean it. I meant every word I said in the first one of these. You had me go back and watch watch my old videos, which is something I don't do. But we still do miss you. But needless to say, it was a great book. Really enjoyed it. Got to throw in a reference to Silver Age Superman and how powerful he was. When's the last time I did that? That's truly fun. This whole book was just truly fun for me. I was kind of bummed out that it had no Obama, that Obama didn't get elected in that world. But that's neither here nor there. What you should probably take away from it, though, it would still be an awesome movie or a series, probably a series, nice and short. Um, I think this is going to end up being one of the lost gems of Hollywood if Hollywood doesn't do anything with this. Um, but you got to try. Keep on trying. You know, yes, you described the guy being in a Tom and Jerry cast, but that's obviously something not in your ballpark, and I totally get that. I I appreciate that the book tried to branch out. Um, it was really awesome. As a fellow writer, not a published one yet, but I appreciate the effort. Thank you. I appreciate that you didn't bring back Obelisk. Yes, the 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 hive mind was referred to as the obelisk, similar. They referred to it as like an obelisk type thing, but you could have just brought back obelisk and had it be the end right there, or you didn't have the whole world blow up, and you didn't have Cora and Ampersand watch the world die. I liked that the moral is humanity may live on. That was just refreshing to see. Once again, Apostles of Mercy, Book 3, in the in the in the in the Axiom's End series. Sorry about that. In the Axiom's End series. Good book. Check it out. A lot of effort was put into it. Like, comment, tell me your opinions. Tell me your thoughts. Do you have any other books I should review? Did you like my Star Trek videos better than this? How do you feel about the whole Axiom's End trilogy? I'd like to know. I thought this was a good book. This has been my thoughts. I'm Bob. This has been The Other World According to Bob. Bob out. That's what happens when we do a video without Mom.